Peace, family, and welcome to this not channeled message. Actually, this is a true sidereal reading for the Pisces full moon, lunar eclipse, and the Virgo new moon solar eclipse. And yes, that means that it is a reading for eclipse season. It's an eclipse season reading. And for a while, I wasn't able to do this reading because Spirit was just like, you don't need to know, you don't need to know. And I feel like things are changing rapidly. They're changing so quickly. And I do feel like there's a closing of a lot of karmic loops and a lot of karmic cycles based on our own, willingness to shut it down. And that is generally pretty uncomfortable, not gonna lie. But it gets easier the more that you do it. It works if you work it. That's what they say. And we in the Aetherium are working it. We do our best. We make a real effort, right? To show up for the energy and show up for the transformation and show up for the evolution and growth. So I have no fear that we in this collective are coming out the other side of this portal. And I do feel like this time we are going through the looking glass. We are breaking through with that glass elevator, like in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. We're breaking through. Oh, sugar, I used the wrong moisturizer. I don't think that it's like any coincidence that I'm doing my skincare routine right now, because I do feel like this is a period that's largely about self-care. This is happening during Virgo season, so there is the virgin birth happening, miracles. This eclipse season is about miracles, and I truly feel like the eclipse season that leads into the summer is what takes us into hell, and now we are coming out of hell. I truly feel like we have been just like moving out of the fucking, is it 7 circles of hell? Throughout the summer. That's really how I feel. If you resonate with that, drop a fire emoji in the comment section. Let's talk now about what's happening in the chart. But also I want to talk about, so the moon is actually in Aquarius in the 12th house during this quote unquote Pisces full moon. And it is sharing that space. It's in Aquarius. It's sharing that space with the ascendant, obviously. The first house is starting in the sign of Aquarius. It's sharing it with the North Node. And they're just about conjunct. This is like the star map that I use is not like it is the best. It's kind of clunky. So yeah, 18 degrees and 15 degrees of Pisces in tropical astrology. And they are, well, what if we use whole sign? In the first house. Well, they are almost conjunct. So there is tremendous growth, and what is being revealed has to do with taking us out of the dark, out of the cursed energy, out of the age of Piscean, curses and bullshit and traps that we had been caught in the age of Pisces that had been keeping us from being, from accessing the light of awareness. And I'm just talking about not like the guiding light like a star, but light as in lightness of density. That is the work that we had to do, was sloughing off that destiny, or density rather, to be able to connect with our North Node and to get to that promised land, to get to that salvation. That's the work that had to be done. And when we come out the other side, the moon is going to be conjunct right on the cusp of the 5th and 6th in the sign of Virgo proper. And also in Virgo, we'll have, because Virgo is a very big sign, it is the biggest sign, and then Pisces follows, and then I think Leo, and then Sag. But what else is here is Mercury and Mars. I think that's worth just noting. So right now we have the sun in Taurus. I suspect that there could be a 𝗂𝗪. Yeah, the sun conjunct Mercury is going to happen in the sign, or excuse me, it's in Leo, not Taurus, excuse me. We're going to have a Mercury 𝗂𝗪 in the sign of Leo. And I think this is going to be a point of time when we're really going to recognize our value. And it's not just us who are going to recognize it, but it's going to be other people. The thing is, people have been recognizing your value, and they've also been recognizing how much you don't recognize your value. And that is kind of being reflected back to us, where it's like, you know, people are noticing that, like, we deserve way better. We should be, like, in much higher vibrational situations, and because we can be, but we're holding ourselves back for some reason. And for some people, I think that part of that is like spell work that has been keeping you from, you've been being gate kept out of certain situations because of just density that has been put on you. And so I know somebody who said that, you know, they feel like they are the ones who like hide themselves, who like who dims their own light, because they remember an experience where it was like, it was as if they were putting mud on themselves to dim their own light because they had to hide because they were afraid. It's like, well, we kind of all do that, right? But the way that they said it was just so profound, of like, you know, something happened to them and then they saw that their consciousness did that. And it really is about letting our consciousness know that like we are safe. I personally have had the opportunity lately to use to do what is referred to as contrast therapy. So it's when you go in a sauna and you're in the sauna for a while, and then you come out of the sauna and you get into a cold plunge. You get into ice, like an ice bath, like cold water. And this contrast therapy, when you know how to breathe through it, activating the vagus nerve, and breathe through the experience so that your body knows that you are actually safe and you don't need to get out of the water, because nothing is happening to you, right? Like you're perfectly safe. You're not about to die. You can stay in the water and you will be fine. And the truth is, the reality is, after just a few minutes, a couple minutes really, you really start to get those effects, the positive benefits of it, you know, really around the 2 minute mark. And that's a good stopping place. 2 to 3 minutes. And this really does actually like rewire your nervous system. It really does rewire your, not just your nervous system. And for me, it has helped to loosen up some serious trauma that was embedded in my body and my psyche. And it's a pretty like aggressive experience when it's loosening and letting go, because I can see the trauma going. And at first I thought that I was experiencing spiritual attacks, but they're not actually spiritual attacks that I was experiencing. It was actually like, it was the trauma leaving my body. And yeah, I mean, you could say like, oh, it was the curse work leaving my body, but like generational trauma, curse work, generational curses, you know, it doesn't really matter. I do think that a lot of it was like, it is traumatizing to experience curse work, and it has to embed itself somehow for it to continually be on you. So it probably is some sort of like magnetic attachment that gets like stuck on us, you know? So I've had the opportunity to do this kind of work for the past little while now, and it has really like opened me up to a new echelon of being able to connect with divinity and connect with the infinite, as I like to call it, touching the infinite, and getting outside of my traumatized ego and entering into new vistas of being that I didn't know were possible because I couldn't fathom them. And that's what this work does. I'm going to trust that you all can, you know, understand what I'm saying, and I don't have to keep on explaining, because if you want to know, you just really have to do it yourself. You have to go and experience that yourself with someone who's able to guide you through that experience. Because if you don't know how to breathe through the experience so that you don't want to pop out after 5 seconds, if you don't know how to breathe through that experience so that you are activating the polyvagal nerve or the vagus nerve, so that you are releasing releasing this need to control, and releasing, because the thing is, like, it's like, yeah, sure, like, I know I can do hard things, I know I can get through hard things, but how do I get through hard things? Do I get through them like in a ball of stress where I'm like hyper vigilant all the time and just breathing crazy and like, you know, like chaos getting through it? Or do I get through it with grace? Do I get through it with ease? Do I get through it with trust and faith that I can? No, usually I'm not sure that I'm going to make it through. Usually I want to quit. But what I've been able to do in hard situations is come back to myself, come back to my breath, check in with myself, get back to that touching of the infinite, and be like, you know what? I can do hard things. Like, I really can. I can get through hard things. I can get through situations that make me feel like I'm gonna fucking die. I really can do that, because I sat in that water. I sat in that water for 3 minutes, and now I know that that's the shit that I'm capable of. You know what I mean? So I think that, like, it's just really a really powerful, gratifying experience. And I'm saying all of this to say, like, those were layers. They were layered into my nervous system. If you were in part of GATE program, if you have been experimented on in the butterfly programs, in the MKU, if you were experimented on by the triple letters, then you have trauma and spell work that has been layered into your psyche, into your nervous system, and it manifests itself in your fascia, it manifests itself in your muscles, in your body. And this is on this deep, deep intrinsic level where it's like, if you truly want to be free of all of this stuff, and this has to do with the Pisces and the Virgo. Virgo is healing, and it has to do with the Aquarius as well. But Pisces is the body, and it relates to witchcraft, and it relates to magic, and it relates to spirituality and the unseen, and yes, baneful magic, like dark witchcraft. Okay, if you really want, I'm gonna pause. Okay, that should be better because I put my microphone on. So I apologize, and I thank you for your patience with me. But yeah, so what I was saying is like, it's in the body, and like, you can't just expect that doing the spiritual work is going to resolve all of the issues. You know what I mean? Like, it is a quantum reality, and everything is existing in these different dimensions, and the spiritual, like the ethers, are a lighter dimension than the air dimension, which is a lighter dimension than water, a lighter dimension than earth. Okay, like, I would actually say that fire is, I mean, fire, it's not lighter than air, but between fire and water, fire is definitely lighter than water. Anyway, so, you know, and think about that. Okay, so these dimensions, like, it's happening in the ethers. Well, it's happening in the physical as well. And we've talked about this in terms of manifestation. As long as I've been doing this practice publicly, I have said that the 3D is the final frontier. You know something? I think about, like, how did I learn these things? Da, 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 da. Part of the reason why I don't even really remember is because the period of time in which I was learning this stuff was so traumatic for me, because I was active in my substance use, and I was actively in trauma, not in any kind of recovery or trauma recovery or anything like that. And yeah, I mean, I was just like reading books. I've realized that like I have the symptom of being hyperlexic, and in terms of like autism. And yeah, I realized that like I was reading books all the time. Like, I've been thinking lately a lot about how I used to just like read philosophy books, and I used to just like read the quantum universe, like on the train, just like reading it as if just like for fun, you know, for funsies. And that's how I learned this stuff, and that's how I was able to translate this stuff into like cosmic wellness. That's what cosmic wellness is. And I know that it sounds very trite because, oh, cosmic, it has to do with like astrology, and like wellness is like seen as like toothless, like witchcraft or spirituality or whatever. And it's like, no, cosmic wellness is actually like built upon spiritual abolition, and it is about our place in the universe, like very literally having to do with quantum physics. And I saw something that said like, oh, like if you see somebody talking about quantum physics, it's that's how you know that it's a fraud or a scam, basically. And I'm just like, no, actually, that's not true. It's like, you just don't understand quantum physics. You know what I mean? And some people get it and some people don't intrinsically. And I think that the people who don't get it are not in their body, and they're not capable of being sovereign. So what I've noticed about this eclipse season energy is that like we're just like really powerfully psychic right now, and like there's a really powerful magical energy that's up right now, and it's very important for us to be thinking cosmically and to be thinking about our, what we know about the quantum universe and the holographic universe, if you want to call it that, which we'd be well within the rights to. It's important for us to stay in our awareness of how this all operates and be careful, be mindful, be intentional about what we're manifesting and what we're not interested in manifesting, because the manifestation abilities and capabilities are right now off. I think that everything that's happening right now is very much karmically fated, karmically fated. And that is to say that a lot of stuff is happening where people are experiencing what they need to in order to get to where they're meant to go in terms of their own personal cycles. Right? You know what I mean? In terms of their own personal cycles. And, if you've been on a level with somebody who you're supposed to move forward, you're just in a karmic relationship and you're trying to take them with you to the next level, but they can't go with you, you just gotta accept that and move on. And whatever has to happen for you to just accept it and move on is what's gonna happen. Okay? Like, you can try to run the show, you can try to control and make what you want to happen, but that's not how this works. Especially not if you're highborn, especially not if you're a chosen one, especially not if you are, you have a mission to fulfill and you have contracts to fulfill that need fulfilling. For me, as somebody who knows that I have a divine counterpart, I don't bother trying to manifest that person. I don't know where they're from, what accent they're gonna have, what kind of colored eyes they're gonna have. I don't know any of that stuff. What I know is their characteristics of what I will tolerate and what I won't tolerate, because I've learned through the karmic lessons. They have been preparing me to, it's just like if you want to be a doctor, you gotta go to class and learn your lessons, then you take the test and you pass the test, so then you can be a doctor. But you don't get to be a doctor unless you pass those tests. Why? Because you cannot be trusted with that kind of power, because you did not earn it. And if you're meant to be a doctor, you're gonna, the universe knows that. Let's say when you enroll in school, when you enroll in university, maybe at least in the United States, you don't have to declare a major for 2 years. But in the universe, in the university of the universe, you fucking make that decision before you enter. So, those of us who always knew what we were gonna be, you go to art school if you want to be an artist. If you're going to be a musician, you go to music school. If you're going to be an actor, you go to acting school. The people who don't know what the fuck they're going to be, either they don't have a real calling. They're just meant to be an NPC, or they're just lying to themselves and they're pretending that they don't know because they don't want to admit to themselves who they really are and what they're really about. That's tea. Okay. So, yeah, fate is big right now. Karma is big right now. And we're breaking free. because Aquarius is the sign of liberation. Spiritual abolition, babies. So a lot of you in my collective, a lot of you who are accessing this reading right now, you probably have Aquarius placements. If you don't have Aquarius placements, I personally would be very surprised. But if you don't have Aquarius placements, then you probably have Capricorn placements. And yeah, if you're the generational curse breaker, chain breaker, you probably have Saturnian placements in your chart, or you have Saturn in a very powerful place in your chart. Potentially Leo, potentially Cancer, maybe Virgo. Yeah. And you might even have it exalted or in domicile. But I don't remember where it is exalted. Yeah, I want to say something that would have to do with Mars. So either Scorpio or Aries, but to be honest, I do not remember. But I'm still gonna read this chart though and continue with what messages come through. So I'm hearing the song from High School Musical that's like, we're breaking free, we're soaring, flying, there's not a star in heaven that we can't reach. If we're trying, then we're breaking free. I don't know, I think those are the words. Not more than, I don't remember the words actually. High School Musical, breaking free. If we're trying, then we're breaking free. You know the world can see us in a way that's different than who we are, creating space between us till we're separate hearts. But your faith, it gives me strength to believe we're breaking free. And the thing about this is like, they obviously take the word that's coming to me is platitudes, and I'm also hearing Plato and Platonic. These kinds of songs, it's not, you think that they're talking about love songs, but it's really just about like the lovers, divine counterparts coming into union, and that is the polarities coming into union, coming into oneness, that yearning, that magnetism that we all feel. And the game, the way that it's set up is to keep us apart, to have all these obstacles to keep us apart. And that's how they make their money, by having all these obstacles that we like get distracted with. Can you feel it building like a wave the ocean just can't control, connected by a feeling, in our very souls? So obviously they're meant to be together. Anyway, so yeah, that's what I was hearing. And you are breaking free. All of the secrets, everything that like you needed revealed is being revealed at this time. All of the information that you've been yearning for, that you've been hungering for, the why, the how, the who's it and what's it. And if you are the oversoul of a collective, if you are the most high of a collective, don't worry about your undersouls doing what they're supposed to do, because as long as you do what you're supposed to do, they will eventually get it. Period. So we have the moon obviously in opposition to the sun, and in this way it's like kind of also making an opposition to Mercury. That's true for the ascendant as well, and that is true for the North Node. And it is setting this up where it's like, what's coming with this eclipse season is like, yeah, being in a state of like, you cannot fuck with me. Like, if it takes somebody, something pissing you off to the point where you're just done, absolutely done, So for those people who, like, you are not someone who listens very well, you don't listen to your ancestors, great godfathers and ancestors when they're trying to tell you a message. Y'all are the ones, we are the ones, honestly, because sometimes I'm the same way. Who, if you're hard-headed, you're going to have to get hit hard in order to heed the call to learn your lesson. But if you are somebody who, like, you are tired of getting your ass handed to you, you're tired of the consequences of being hard-headed, you're tired of the experience of having to learn the hard way, you might just be like, okay, God, I hear you. And there is temptation that is coming up with this right now with these transits. There's a lot of temptation. I sure as hell am feeling it. And let me see, because I heard that Uranus went retrograde. Yeah, it went retrograde yesterday. So let's talk about that. And we're grateful for you. I don't know why, but, like, my voice is not voicing, which probably means that I'm experiencing a throat chakra activation. So that's probably why. Let's calculate it. Uranus went retrograde in Taurus, near the midheaven arteries, in the 10th house. It's making a trine to Pluto retrograde. Uranus being retrograde and the full moon happening in Aquarius, which is Uranus is the ancient planetary ruler, or modern planetary ruler. Saturn is the ancient planetary ruler. But Saturn is direct in Gemini. Pluto retrograde in Capricorn. Yeah, this really is about the reversal of fortunes. The weak shall inherit the earth. The first will be last, and the last will be first. It's a good time to read Revelations because the preparation is over. The time is now. Is what I'm feeling. The test, the goals, all that. Yes, all that is over. The time is now. So really, once again, I have to say, if you have been fucking around with, like, karmics, it's a wrap. And there have been a lot of situations that we could be fucking around with karmics. There's been a lot of situations lately, because it's been really a magical, spooky vibe as we come into this era, this season of eclipse season. This portal is really incredibly powerful, and planets have been popping up, and if it's not one, it's the other. If you don't take the place, the universe has given us opportunities, and that's also part of why, if you're feeling the need to go into hermit mode, also associated with Aquarius, with Uranus, yes, Aquarius. If you're feeling the need to go into hermit mode, it totally makes sense, because it helps us to avoid temptation. What temptations we are being forced to reconcile, to engage with, are because we must. Like I said, it is a very fated time. So certain things are happening because until we're supposed to meet this person, until we're supposed to engage with this person, we're not going to be given the opportunity to make a mess of it. If you are having experiences where you're kind of acting different than how you're used to yourself acting, it's because if you are a crossroads, if you are a gatekeeper, if you are a guardian of the veil, of the gate, you may be just acting a certain way because you are people's karma. And trust that they also might be acting a certain way because they're your karma. Think of everything as a karmic lesson. Do not, and where all that shit like a loose do not get overly attached and hung up in these trite human affairs, the humanoid affairs, what is on Earth, what is happening on Earth. You know what I mean? This is one life out of many lifetimes. Dig into your principles, dig into your integrity, dig into what we call here in the Aetherium, your pillar of light. That's what you want to be doing. And I guarantee on the other side of this eclipse season, all of those blockages that you've been feeling, because you were not supposed to do certain things in old Earth. You were not supposed to use your powers for these things. The information, the codes that you have in you knew that you had them in you, because you were encoded with them. The knowledge, the wisdom for you to do what you had to do. And in old Earth, you were supposed to just get to the launch pad so that you could get out of old Earth and do this stuff in new Earth to rewrite history. I don't believe in yesterday, but what's a black beetle anyway? Fucking roach. I guess that's why they got me sitting in fucking coach. So you may be somebody, like, if you haven't gotten your flowers, you're about to. You're about to. And like I've said before many, many times, some of us are blessings for other frequency that could not be accessed in the 3D. Or in old Earth, the frequencies that old Earth was able to access. Could only be accessed once we got to new Earth. 6-dimensional blessings. And so we're going to see things are changing so much because we've been integrating with 60. And 60 is pushing out all of that bad karma, all of that lower karma, all of that density, that dreck, that 𝗂𝗄 is getting pushed out. Is getting forced out of us as well, whether we like it or not. Because those of us who have the codes, our codes are being activated whether we like it or not. Right? So that's a lot of what's going on. And Uranus retrograde in Taurus. Oh yeah, this is a reversal of fortune. When I think about the eccentricity of this planet, I think about how out of whack the society has been and the way that we've been living. You know what I mean? Just like how messed up and imbalanced and backwards things have been societally for a very long time, where everything is leading to the destruction of our home, the destruction of our body, of our minds, of our communities, of our relationships, all of this. That is what I think about when I think about the eccentricity of old Earth and Uranus. Getting to that taboo. But when I think about new Earth and Uranus, I think about being set free from all of that. And when I think about it in connection with Pluto retrograde, I think about how some people, some groups have had to do what they've had to do to survive because of what happened to them. And justice is being had because some people took their knocks like a 𝗂𝗽 and leveled up, but some people, you gotta get your comeuppance at some point, you know what I mean? That's all that I have to say on that part. else can we expect? I think I've said what I've said is, it feels pretty good to me. I want to look at the Virgo new moon. So that's in opposition to Neptune, Jupiter, almost conjunct, both retrograde. Yeah, no, it's Neptune and Saturn. So Saturn is conjunct. That's what I thought. In the sign of Pisces. It is really about your sense of self. It is really about our sense of self. It is really about recognizing ourselves as a child of God, like, you know, a carrier of the sacred flame, each and every single one of us. And bringing that compassion, bringing that empathy to our relationships with other people that we don't want to forgive. You don't have to fuck with them to have compassion and empathy for them. You don't have to fuck with them to have unconditional love for them. When unconditional love means I want you to get all of your needs met because I know that you wouldn't be the miserable fuck that you are if you were getting what you needed. That's what that means, right? In the Aetherium, that's what that means. A lot of people don't understand what love is. They think that it is something that it's not, and I would look at the 𝗷𝗄𝗱𝗁𝗁 of it. I'd also think about the Sagittarian version of it, where it's just like, you know something, if you love someone, you might have to beat their ass. Remember when there was a gang that said that they were going to beat up Kanye for the shit that he was doing? I don't remember what he was doing, but they said that they were going to beat him up, and he was like, oh, I love you guys, because the fact that you're saying that you were going to beat me up means that you love me. If you didn't give a fuck about me, you would not want to beat me up. Because you want me to be, you know, you want to set me on a straight path. You know what I mean? It really just is about, like, something really fucked up happened to you, and I'm really sorry that that happened to you. And also, I want you to get better, and I want you to heal. And also, I don't want anything to do with you, and even if you do get better and heal, I'm still not going to want anything to do with you. That's what that means. 𝗪𝗫𝘁. So, do your best to embody that, because you want to get trapped. We are manifests on each of the planets to different degrees. Alchemically, like a potion condensed into a form here. Etherically, we are manifest. So don't get caught up in any of these planets. Like, you want to free yourself from not just the rings of Saturn, which that is a planet that has been exploited to keep us trapped in these karmic loops, but from the rings at all. People talk about the rings of Saturn. What about the solar system itself? Right? It is also making trine to Uranus retrograde, and still Uranus moves very slowly, and Pluto retrograde. So I think we already kind of talked about that. Justice for those who, you know, like they did what they had to do. Maybe it wasn't very good, maybe it wasn't very nice, maybe it's fucked up, but they did what they had to do because they didn't have any other choice. They were given very few choices about how to move forward. When you push someone far enough, and that's the thing, you know, that's the thing that abusers and narcissists know, is like, if they want to ruin your reputation, they will push you far enough to make you look a certain way in front of people so that they can then malign you and manipulate and control the narrative about you that others have. And that's exactly what the invaders, I would say, have been able to do to the divine feminine. To abuse and abuse and abuse and abuse to the point where she had no choice but to, you know, shank them. And that's one of the main ways that the adversary gets at folks, is they try to get you to step out of your pillar of light, so then they have the authority to take you down, or to destiny swap, what have you. But justice is coming in. It's like, okay, well, you know, if someone was goading you, and then you finally couldn't take it anymore and you punch them in the face, like, yeah, you're gonna receive consequences for that. And then they lied about it, and they made it seem like they didn't do anything, and like and it's like, okay, like if before it was like you were the only one experiencing consequences, but then it was discovered, like, you know, all of the things that they had done, and then they're gonna have to pay for that backlog of everything, and say, well, you did your time. There's a whole bloodline that is experiencing this liberation right now. Yeah. So is there anything else that you want to communicate? I feel like I've been talking for a long time. I don't care to do these like super long, and if I'm saying, like, I feel like I've said a lot. I mean, this is a mystery school. It's not just about, like, you know, oh, there are going to be people coming back from the past. Like, we're downloading the mysteries here, seriously. So I want to talk about the fact that we have, like, a bunch of placements, 5 placements, that is Venus and South Node, Moon, the Sun, and Mercury, all together between Leo and Virgo in the 5th house and the 6th house. Creativity. And also here magic, routines, healing. Yeah, create routines that support you living the life that you want to live, being the person that you want to be. Do those things. Get clear on what that is, what that looks like, and actually do those things, because that's how you're going to magnetize it to you. Be the author of your own life. Mars in the 7th in Virgo. Yeah, stop letting people make you feel like you can't do what you want to do or be who you want to be. Like, you gotta be confident. You gotta be like, oh yeah, I am that girl. Or, oh yeah, I'm him. Like, I'm really that bitch. You feel me? Like, that's how you have to be. Jupiter, Gemini, making a trine. Yeah, think big, think expansively. You definitely get the sense that it's like your interpersonal relationships. This is 3rd house, so this also has to do with, like, I think about, like, colleagues and schoolmates and things like this, but cousins are also 3rd house territory. Yeah, like there are people that you just have to like, you've been afraid to go big on them, but you just need to go big on them and just let go of them. Because they're not meant to be in your life anymore. Like, stop fucking playing fake humble. It's not that you're humble, it's that you don't like yourself. You have low self-esteem. You don't believe that you deserve better. And you probably resent people for having better and being better. If you think that being fucking broke and like living a poor ass life makes you a real one, let me tell you it doesn't. Because I know plenty of people who are not real ones, who are broke and poor, and I know plenty of people, well, I know some people who have money and they're fucking real as fuck. There are actually a lot of good people who are just genuinely fucking good, and like they actually do have good morals, and they actually do have like, you know, they stand for what they believe, and they live their truth, and they have money. So, you know, also think about this, how the fuck are you gonna really be a help to people if you don't have anything to give? And if you're constantly in a state of crisis, that doesn't make any sense. So really, it genuinely is, like I said, like, and I'm seeing all of this stuff being left behind, like, what's gonna happen in this eclipse window really is, like, all of these opportunities to leave your false ego behind, like the self-limiting beliefs, all of that shit is getting cut off of you. All of the spiritual detritus, all of the curse work, all of the cursed energy that's been on you, everything that's like been holding you back. And I'm seeing like goo, but it's like that energy, and they're not gonna, like, these energies and entities that have been attracted to your trauma are not gonna be able to come to you anymore. They're not gonna latch onto you anymore because it's getting left behind. It has to in this shift to New Earth. It's like the goo from Fern Gully. That's what I'm seeing. And it's in your soul because of like what was done to you. And a lot of you, it's like you inherited it in this lifetime, because a lot of people haven't been on Earth before. If you have, you haven't been in a really long time, or maybe, yeah, it's mainly that you haven't been in a really long time. Especially if you're a Lemurian 𝗪𝗪. And I mean, I've been feeling like this, like people talk about the Lemurian Holocaust. I feel like that's happening right now. That's been happening for the past 2,000 years. They talk about it like it was so long ago. I feel like that's what's happening right now. Uranus retrograde in the second house. It's a relationship to our environment. Yep. It's taking out blockages inside of us that have been keeping us from coming into union, divine union. And I tell you guys all the time, y'all gotta see what I've been telling you. I tell you all the time, our divine union, our divine counterpart, it's in the new earth. It is new earth. The job, the house, the car, the romantic relationship, the friends, the family, the food, your diet, your trips, everything that you do, that you were born to do, you know you've been meant for it. You're about to come into it in new earth. This is what the these quote unquote elites, the 𝗂𝗧, if you will, these, because it's not every famous person, it's not every rich person, it's not every big person who has power or influence, but it is a very specific group of people. And if those people who they like have been gambling, you know, coming up to this time, you've seen a lot of them getting very, very desperate. A lot of their actions are very, very desperate. They don't want to get stuck behind, they don't want to get left behind, but they also don't want to do what they have to do to get free. That's what happens when you get addicted to magic. And I've been seeing a lot of people, a lot of reminders about people being addicted to magic. Remember, I talked about that last summer. Or it may have been last September, in those lives that I was doing on that rooftop, especially when I was talking about 𝗂𝗲𝗍. Yeah. Yep. Everything comes so full fucking circle, dude. So bizarre, so wild, so crazy. It's a good time to meditate because this energy feels quite chaotic. It's a good time to be in silence. It's a good time to purge from stimulation for periods of time. Just take a day, take an hour, or 7 hours, and just purge yourself of stimulation. Just sit in silence. And don't be around like using your laptop or anything like that. Maybe that's the time for you to create, actually. This is a very powerful time for creation. It's a very powerful time to be making art, expressing yourself. And I felt that in my throat chakra. So 7th house, Virgo and Libra, and we have here Mars. Honestly, feel like, you might be popping shit. You might have the desire to pop shit a lot. Mars is in Virgo, but it's in the 7th house. You need to say what you need to say to write these karmic relationships and end the karmic contracts and set the scales back into place. That's why, like I said, faded. So if you need to say something to someone, you need to say it. And if you don't need to say something to someone, if it's like, I'm not having this conversation with you, don't. But don't be surprised if a lot of people come back wanting to have a conversation to right the wrongs of the past, and to close out cycles, and they might not even know why they want to, but it's going to be like, oh, God put it on my heart. Yep, exactly. A lot of throat chakra purging, a lot of throat chakra clarification coming out of this window. And the fallout of that isn't going to be cleared for a few years, to be honest. Because I do feel like people are going to be revealing things that are going to clarify information for you that like you've been trying to get for a really long time. It's going to blow open. I'm hearing like blow the case wide open. Shit that has been a mystery to you that you've been trying to figure out for a long ass time. That's what I'm talking about. I wouldn't recommend doing magic right now. Protective magic, yes. Manifestation, I would spend more time working on your vision board, getting clear on your vision, that type of thing. Getting clear on your intentions, getting clear on your integrity, that sort of thing, but I would not by any means go out of my way to do magic right now. In the 12th house, we have Chiron, retrograde. We have Neptune and Saturn almost conjunct. They're leaving their conjunction. They've been conjunct for a while, which explains a lot of the energy that we've been experiencing this past year, as they work together to clear out the karma. And as that conjunction ends, we're going to feel less intensity. We're going to feel less purging. Thank goodness. Because it's clearing out the body in Pisces. The 12th house is clearing out those cobwebs. It's cleaning the basement out. It's cleaning out the cellar. Eviction is what I'm hearing. It's the end of that spiritual slavery. As above, so below. What is he doing? North Node, still in Aquarius. The 11th house. Yeah, coming at the moon, because of getting rid of those relationships that were keeping you tethered to a lower density, we're going to be able to finally be coming into union with our people who are supposed to have relationships with, who we're supposed to be interacting with. Some of this may happen online. Some of it may happen on social media. So don't underestimate that. Check your inbox. Check your DMs. Check that on your DMs where it's like on Instagram, the requests folder, the general folder. Check those DMs, because you're gonna have people messaging you. And remember, this is a general reading, it's not for everybody, but you're gonna have people messaging you in places that you might not always check. So do be checking that shit. If you're on an Instagram break, go on and check your messages and get off throughout this time, because people are going to be reaching out to you for offers. Don't post just because you want attention. Be very intentional about what you're posting. But right now you need to be directing all of your energy to the life you actually want to be living. Stop squandering that shit. Floundering is the word that I'm hearing. Like you've just been trying to survive because your energy has been being siphoned. You've been trying to do what you gotta do, and how's it being siphoned? Usually through addiction, usually through karmic relationships. When you can't stop being in a toxic pattern with people, codependency, fucking people pleasing, all this destiny swap shit, that's what I'm talking about, because a lot of these relationships are destiny swaps. Now that you're putting your foot down, now that you're saying no more, you're getting your light back, you're getting your energy back. People see that on you, that's that stain on you. That's why people have stopped fucking with you. You think that they feel intimidated by you. Yeah, they do, because they see you glowing brighter. Because you're finally not squandering your pearls before swine. And we have been, that has been, since I started this public facing practice back in 2018, that has constantly, when I was the resident astrologer for Sad Girls Club, when I was doing workshops at Playground Coffee Shop, that was the message. Right? That was the lesson, right? Don't squander, don't cast your pearls before swine. Constantly, that was the message. Constantly, right? Okay, right? And this is why, because that's a destiny swap. That's what's keeping you. It's not about what you're doing or not doing, it's about who you're doing it with, who you're allowing into your life. And there were karmic lessons, and you did karmic contracts, and we did have to break out of those karmic contracts. There's a lot of spirit activity going on. I'm going to call on my spirit guides, my great gods, guides, and ancestors, because there is a lot of spirit energy going on right now. Oh, the veil's very thin. Be in your power. I do feel like there's going to be a lot of like karmic situations that you already been here before, and you need to look at those situations and like what you already learned to pass these tests. Because with Pluto retrograde in the 10th house in Capricorn, it really is, these are opportunities for you to pass this shit. You're not gonna have to deal with it in the same way. Sure, you may always have like haters, but it's just gonna be that it's not gonna be this, you're not gonna have to deal with it in the same way. It's not gonna have the same effect on you. And it will be far less. It'll be far less because you're letting go of that frequency once and for all. And as you let go of that frequency and the energy falls off of you, falls off of you, falls off of you, eventually it's going to fall off all the way. Do not pick that energy back up. It's like picking up cigarettes after you didn't smoke for a long time. Do not pick that energy back up. And this is wisdom that you're going to be able to share with people. Set that example for people. Be the change that you want to see in the world by showing up as the person that you were meant to. I really feel like that's kind of everything that I'm getting. Let me just like go around the chart one more time. Chiron and Pisces in the 2nd house. It is about like these blockages in for the full moon. It is about these blockages. It is about the self-limiting beliefs. It is about the lack of self-esteem, lack of self-love, not seeing oneself fully, clearly. That's what this is about, and how that has kept you out of being in alignment, and how that is keeping you. That's what you need to transcend to be able to unlock the codes to get into New Earth. It's not something that anyone can ever steal. You gotta earn this. You have to earn it by doing it. Stop trying to do shit passive aggressively. Stop trying to do shit in secret, in hiding. No, fuck that. Grow up. Because in the 1st house for the full moon, we have the moon, the north node. Oh, no. Actually, that's in the 12th house, but the north node is in the 1st house. So the north node, Saturn, Neptune, which are both retrograde. It's kind of a miracle that the north node probably is retrograde. Let me check. No, that's not the chart that I was using. No, yeah, September 7th. Yeah. What is this? It's not the full moon. It must be Uranus. Anyway, so all that is in the 1st house. These are major changes coming to our conception of self. Major changes, cataclysmic, tectonic plates shifting. Okay, this is about to make some earthquakes, okay? And it doesn't even have to be super outside of ourselves. A lot of it is consciousness. A lot of it is consciousness. So like I said, I was talking about that nervous system shift, right? That's the type of shit that you need to be focusing on, and yeah, meditation is going to help with that. We have Uranus retrograde in Taurus in the 3rd house. And that's triangulating with Pluto retrograde in Capricorn in the 11th house. There's a very spooky energy. I didn't even say, be careful, because some folks, like, there's definitely a monitoring energy, and it is a surveilling energy, and on some big brother shit. That's all I'm gonna say. Uranus retrograde. In the 3rd house. Yeah, like I said, these are changes to our relationships. We're not gonna be able to like deal with the shit that we used to deal with, and that we were just like, oh, like, you know, taking it easy about. Like, nope, not at all. We're getting sick of our own shit with this sign. Expect to feel, if you've been feeling uncomfortable, this is why. Because honestly, like, it's the energy building up. Always with the shadow period is the most annoying, but then actually being in the period is usually, I mean, you already hit rock bottom pretty much. So it's like, you're just there and you're just moving through it. It's not descending into the situation. It's like, okay, now I can actually like figure out what the fuck to do. I can dig into a solution. I can build better, get out of this energy on the upswing. But this has definitely been like a very uncomfortable time, because there's been a lot of shedding and purging going on. To let us know how we've been settling and how like we've been the self-limiting beliefs. You might think about it like, oh, I'm being practical. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe that's practical for someone else who's not a chosen one. Maybe that's practical for a mundane, but it ain't practical for you, boo-boo. So we have Jupiter and Gemini in the 5th house. We also have Venus in the 5th house. She's in Leo. People are talking about you. They're talking about the right people are saying the right things, right time, right place. Trust that shit. You're magnetic right now. Magnetize that reality. And like I said, do the work, put the shit out there. Only invest your energy in what's actually going to pay off to get you closer to that life that you want to live. Magnetize that shit. Be like, I am her, I am him, I am them. I'm magnetic as fuck, exactly. Be the sovereign. Be the master of your domain. Magnetize that divine counterpart relationship, divine union into your whole life. Show up as them, because you want that shit. Play around. And really, vision boards are going to be really, really helpful right now. So I really encourage you to do that. Use fucking Pinterest, some magazines, whatever, you know, but really get into that. Sixth house, we have Mercury, the Sun, and the North Node, which is in the 7th house, so it is in the sign of Leo, so the 6th house. Yeah, it's just healing, and it's really important for us to like, okay, if you know that you want to be fit, and it's like, but why? Is it because, trigger warning, do you have body dysmorphia because you are ascribing to colonial ideals of beauty, which are evil, because everything colonial is evil? Or is it because you want to feel better in your body? You want to feel strong, you want to age well. Do Pilates if that's the reason why you want to do it. And also, yeah, you know what, just admit to yourself if that's also what you want. But don't harm yourself. If you can admit that to yourself, the universe is going to provide you with the support that you need to heal your mind, Mercury, so that you can love yourself. And also, it might also be that you can do Pilates, but don't starve yourself and hurt yourself. That's for somebody. Trigger warning on that, but that's for somebody. You want to age well, you want to be healthy, you want to be fit, because you don't have to be 𝗂𝗍𝗂𝗃 skinny to be all those things. And in fact, those people are not healthy, they're sick. So pray for clarity of mind, pray for your mind to be healed, pray for the removal of these illusions and distortions and the fragmentation. Pray for, healing and integration of your mind and your body and your spirit. Pray for that shit, because it will be made available to you. Pray to receive it. Pray to be willing, to be willing, to be willing to accept it. In the South Node, in the 7th house. How is other people? It really is like the adversary is going to be working through your interpersonal relationships. Also something to do with contracts, because 7th house has to do with marriage, it has to do with contracts, it has to do with business partnerships. Neptune, Pisces, 12. Yep, the sabotage is coming through these karmic relationships that need to end. What has been, it's the ego, it's this 𝗂𝗵𝗱𝗁 energy. Fragmentation. How have you been disintegrated? How have you been fragmented? And that shows up in your relationships when you self-abandon for your interpersonal relationships. That's where that shit shows up. When you mask, when you assimilate, that's where that shit shows up. Mercury in Virgo in the 8th house. We know it's going to end in the 7th house in Virgo. Hitting rock bottom with our bad habits. It's time to talk to someone about it. It's time to actually seek help. Stop fucking around. Seriously. There's a lot of clarity coming in here. A lot of wisdom and integration. Just avail yourself of it. Sit in quietness, stillness, meditation. Tune into your breath. This is a time to focus on your wellness. These wellness practices, like I said, get that contrast therapy going, dead ass. It really helps. Midheaven and 𝗂𝗪𝗂𝗃, whatever you want to say. That's not interesting, because I was wondering too. Like, there's nothing in 𝗂𝗪𝗂𝗃 in the chart ending for the new moon. There's nothing in 𝗂𝗪𝗂𝗃, but we have some Libra, some Scorpio, and some Libra, all of Scorpio, and all of 𝗂𝗪𝗂𝗃 in the 8th house. Transformation. But yeah, like midheaven and 𝗂𝗪𝗂𝗃, because you are meant to be, you're the big idea. Like, you're meant to stand out, you're meant to be you've got the it factor. And all of this window of eclipse season is putting you in your power so that you can finally be it. There's a quote that I keep thinking of the quote from The Image, A Guide to Pseudo-Events in America by Daniel J. Boorstin. He says, basically, I think he says, like, you can make a man a star, but we can fabricate fame. We can at will, though usually at considerable expense, make a man or woman well known, but we cannot make him great. We can make a celebrity, but we can never make a hero. And damn, if I don't agree with that, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, exactly. Okay, like, yeah. They can't touch you. They can't compete. That's the tea. That's the true tea that they don't want to drink, that you don't want to drink, because you're still looking for acceptance, because you're still not willing to tell the truth. You are better than them. You are stronger than them. You are faster than them. Like, I'm not going to say God loves you more, but like, God loves you more than them. But that also, in a special way. That's what Spirit's saying. I don't make the rules. I'm just here to deliver the message. So we have Pluto retrograde in the 11th house, and it's like I said, it really is like, just take your power back. Keep calling your power back. Keep calling it back. Be in your power. Follow your intuition. Do the thing like that feels hard. It's actually going to make you feel so much better on the other side of it. Okay. I love you all truly and deeply. This is actually one of the shorter readings that we've done of this magnitude. An hour and 22 minutes. Usually they're a lot longer, and I'm sitting here with 3 friggin' charts. So I liked going around the circle. It's just so much easier than jumping around all over the place. But if and when I start doing these readings again with earnestness, seriousness, and whatever, that's going to be up to the Most High. But when I do start doing that again, that's probably how I'll do it. And I love you all truly and deeply. I really hope that this was helpful, and I'm rooting for you. Bonne chance et bon rêve, mes chéris. Au revoir.